Welcome to Highway Herald, your roadmap to the latest in auto. Today, we're diving into the tumultuous world of China's electric vehicle, EV, industry. Over the past decade, the Chinese government has invested billions with the clear ambition of dominating the new automotive landscape. However, the reality today is far more complex. While a few companies have managed to rise above the rest, the majority are grappling with significant challenges. Bankruptcies are sweeping through Chinese EV manufacturers at an alarming rate, and we're left wondering what impact this will have on both the Chinese and global EV industry. The Bankruptcy Wave. When the Chinese government decided to go full throttle with electric cars, the industry exploded. Initially, the number of registered startups skyrocketed to 500, buoyed by government subsidies. But as we all suspected, this growth was unsustainable. Just a few years later, the number of registered EV companies plummeted to around 90. Even for a market as large as China, this number of car makers is excessive. The situation has only become more challenging in recent years, and it's no surprise that we're now witnessing a wave of bankruptcies. In just the last few months, 4 EV companies, along with hundreds of dealers, have declared bankruptcy. Among these, Neutron stands out as a company that chose to refund all customers and cease operations. Letton, a company that once outpaced Tesla in sales during 2015 and 2016, selling hundreds of thousands of EVs annually, followed suit. But perhaps the most shocking bankruptcy was that of Evergrande New Energy Auto, an EV division of one of the world's largest conglomerates. After investing billions over several years, it turns out the company lost $17 million on every vehicle sold. But before we delve deeper into that, let's take a quick look at another recent case, the WM case. WM is another company that recently filed for bankruptcy. What makes this case particularly interesting is that WM was considered one of China's most promising EV makers. Backed by several major Chinese companies, including Baidu and Tencent, it was one of the wealthiest startups, alongside NIO. Despite receiving over $5.3 billion in funding, WM struggled to carve out a position in China's fiercely competitive EV market. The pressure on Chinese EV makers to produce cutting-edge yet affordable products is immense. Coupled with financial struggles and the COVID-19 pandemic, which intensified the price war, WM found it difficult to adapt. WM was unable to cover significant losses totaling $1.2 billion. While companies like Caixin Auto Holdings announced plans to acquire WM, the recent bankruptcy filing has left that deal in limbo. WM Motor, however, announced plans to undergo a massive restructuring process and find new investors in an attempt to reinvent itself, as officials stated. Even the giants are battling. As we've previously discussed, the Chinese EV market is a battlefield, with a relentless price war at its core. Naturally, smaller companies bear the brunt of this struggle, but what's fascinating is that even the giants are feeling the heat. They too need fresh investments to stay in the game. In a nutshell, capital is a challenge for all. Take NIO, for instance. This leading Chinese EV company boasts over 11,000 employees. However, their sales figures are falling short of expectations. The second quarter of last year was particularly troubling, with only 8,000 units sold. We're talking about a large-scale manufacturer here, a company that has invested millions in factory automation and offers some of China's most advanced EVs, complete with cutting-edge self-driving systems and augmented reality glasses. Despite these advancements, sales numbers remain too low to offset production costs, resulting in NIO reporting losses of $35,000 per EV sold in that quarter. With sales plummeting on such a grand scale, certain moves were predictable, such as the capital infusion from Abu Dhabi in exchange for a 7% stake and a substantial financial boost from the local government of Hefei. Meanwhile, the founder and CEO, William Li, faced backlash from fans at a customer gala dinner. The competition is too fierce for profit. The Chinese EV market is a hotbed of competition, with even industry giants struggling to price competitively without incurring losses. Li Auto, known for its high-end, high-tech electric crossovers, is a case in point. Now, it faces competition from new startup Aito, which released the M7 model, offering similar features to Li Auto's S7, but at a significantly lower price. In this environment, where startups are slashing prices to gain market share, it's clear that companies are bleeding money. While this might seem like a fast track to success, the reality is that startups, except those state-owned, are far from secure. These companies are delivering small vehicle numbers, indicating unsustainable plans. Many could soon disappear. Companies like Evergrande New Energy Auto, Airways, and Neutron have already shut their factories, while the state-owned FAW Group filed for bankruptcy last year. Only startups backed by major companies stand a chance of survival. One such company is Zeekr, a brand established by major player Geely. This startup aims to break into the international market, likely the only way to survive the domestic price war. Their strategy involves luxury EVs for Asia and Europe, and robotaxis in North America. Lastly, let's talk about the Evergrande New Energy Vehicle Group. Once one of the world's highest valued car companies, outvaluing Ford Motor Company and seen as a major Tesla rival, it ended its journey with a sales record of 1,300 electric vehicles and a staggering loss of nearly $24 billion. This equates to a loss of $17 million on every vehicle sold. A clear sign of closure? Absolutely. The small players are squeezed out. The Chinese automotive industry is currently navigating through stormy waters, with repercussions felt globally. While China is poised to maintain its leadership in the EV industry, the landscape is set for a seismic shift. The total number of EV companies has dramatically fallen from 500 in 2019 to around 90 today. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. The relentless price war and the unending demand for technological advancement will force many more EV companies to close their doors. In this survival of the fittest scenario unfolding in China, a few companies are monopolizing most of the market share. Specifically, the top 10 EV companies accounted for around 80% of total EV sales last year, and the trend suggests their growth will continue. Leading the pack is BYD, a company with sales figures in the millions. Conversely, at least a third of those 90 EV makers sell no more than 2,000 EVs annually. Experts forecast that at least 20 more companies are teetering on the brink of bankruptcy. In the end, most will either shut down or be absorbed by larger players. Regarding the companies likely to survive these turbulent times, BYD and Tesla are probably the only two equipped for a long-term price war. Their low production costs allow them to prioritize volume over profitability. Then there are companies like Geely, which may not have impressive sales records in China, but have a strong international presence, giving them the resilience to withstand these domestic market challenges. Despite China's lead in EV technology, its domestic market isn't mature enough to support such a large number of companies. Modest consumer spending is a death sentence for local companies, leaving even those once seen as likely to succeed stranded. The COVID-19 pandemic, capital market downturn, cost of raw materials, and a shortage of funds are a lethal cocktail reshaping the Chinese EV industry landscape. Soon, the industry will be dominated by a handful of major manufacturers, mirroring the situation in most other parts of the world. Meanwhile, we brace ourselves for a great deal of upheaval. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to Highway Herald to stay updated with the latest vehicle updates and upcoming videos. See you next time.